Hello, and welcome back to another episode with me, Alexandria Tomeko, the Pantless Planner. Today, I'm going to share the main free planning tools that I use in my own events. And even when I have a huge event budget, these are still my go-to tools. So I like to bootstrap on events. So that's why I'm giving you the main free ones, right? You don't have to go and pay for a giant SaaS, software as a service, or pay a lot of commissions or free or fees. These are things that are absolutely free at your disposal. So for planning and logistics, what I really like is Google Suite. So if you have a Gmail, this comes free. If you do pay for a business email, like for your .com and it's linked to Google, you have a little extra perks there, like for mine. But all in all, if you have a Gmail, to create a Gmail, it's free. All you need is a name. So if you don't have a Gmail address, just create one and you'll have access to the Google Suite, which will have Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Calendar. So these are the main ones that I use for planning and logistics. Google Docs is great for documents across the team, messaging, vendor information, guests, all of that you handle with Google Docs. And you can share. What I love about Google Suite is it's a live share. So you have to be careful as well, because if someone edits something, your team in Hong Kong and you're in California, it will edit it for everyone. So just making sure that you're careful there, but all of the permissions and everything can be set up. So if you don't trust someone to edit something, or it's a vendor and you don't want them to be able to edit it, all you have to do is make them a viewer or a commenter and not an editor. Google Sheets, please. I know I said I'm going to make a video about this, and I will. Use Google Sheets. It's like Excel, but better. So all of the calculations, budgeting, programs or agendas, data collection, anything that's very data heavy. For example, I recently was helping with a festival and we had like 50 different speaker applications and going through it. And so what we did was have a form, and then all the data went through a Google Sheets. And then it was really easy to see, what day they were available, what time, and then slot them in, right? So please don't be afraid of Google Sheets. We'll talk more about that in another video, but definitely any budgeting calculations, formulas, Google Sheets is my go-to. Google Calendar, right? It seems like such a small thing, but keeping track of meetings, sending meeting invites is really important, and then important dates, right? So you can set reminders. For example, when I'm running a budget and a event, I set up the contractor, the deposit dates in Google Calendar, right? So it'll let us know 3 days before, 4 days before, in case we have to wire the money or something like that, that payment is coming up, to keep things organized. Communication tools that I use. So Google Meet as well. It's with Google Drive. This is what the logo looks like right here. 1 hour free calls. You can share, you can record, all that kind of stuff. Loom is a great tool. I use Loom quite a bit, especially if I'm working with different time zones. Loom is a screen recording software, and you install it in Google Chrome or Safari. And basically, I could do this video on Loom, right? This video I'm doing actually on Zoom. I'm not sponsored by them, but Loom, to go through budgets, to go through contracts, to go through any questions, right? When I sometimes help with marketing strategy, things like that. I'll share screen, do a video, send a link, and people can watch it in their own time. And then the sender can see how many times they viewed it. They can copy on the link, and it saves a lot of meetings and a lot of back and forth. Zoom is another great tool. Unfortunately, Google Meet and Zoom are doing this thing that they're limiting time, right? So I, like I said before, have Google Plus, I guess it is, where I pay for my .com. So I have Google Business. It's like $14 a month or something like that. So I have unlimited Google Meet time. If it is free, it's limited to 1 hour. Now Zoom limits it to 45 minutes if you have more than one person on the call, right? But you can still do recordings, screen share, all of that kind of thing, have chats, all of that. SaaS. So SaaS means software as a service. So here are three that are used quite a bit by myself. It depends on the size of the team for the first and last one, depending if I'll bring someone on. Airtable in itself is a project management system. It's completely free. It's like Excel on steroids is what I like to say, right? So it has forms, data management, task management, right? You can put your to-dos in there all organized, data linking. So if I have my guests fill out a form, I can then pull their data somewhere else without having to copy and to paste. And so that's really nice. I sell, for example, different templates in terms of like event management software kind of that I've already built out for example, retreats or weddings or things like that. And all of that I do in Airtable. Of course, there are free versions and then there's paid versions available, but with the free, it's more than enough to get started. Canva, this presentation I did on Canva, it's a very known at this point SaaS that can be used. And so for presentations like these, flyers, banners, logos, posts, anything in terms of promoting or execution or downloads or things like that you're going to do in your event, you can do in Canva, right? So that one deserves to be in there for design. And then Slack. If I have a larger team, I use Slack. If it's just one or two people, I don't really bother, to be honest. But you can chat, share documents, create groups. It will stay for, 90 days, depending on the version that you are on. On the free version, you can have 90 days. So it's a great way to send kind of heavier documents, have immediate feedback, and so on. Okay, use cases. So those are all the ones that I use. Here's the best use cases and examples. I know I said some, but here are some more. Documentation, right? So Google Docs, messaging, copy, descriptions, meeting notes. I take meeting notes in Google Docs, and then I just share that Google Doc with my team. Google Sheets, again, itineraries, budgets, programs, directories, right? So having vendor contact lists, for example. So their name, what they're bringing, where is their address, who are their contact numbers, what time they're arriving, that kind of stuff for events. Communication, so that can be Google Meet, that can be Looms, meetings, reviews, vendor meetings, and then any kind of interdepartmental team communication that you need to have. Design, right? Those are logos, banners, promotion for media. Systems, which would be like Airtable, event management, vendor management, guest management. Even though they all end in management, they are very different, right? So event management as a whole has a lot of intricate details, includes vendor management and guest management. Guest management can be things such as dietary restrictions, flight itineraries. Vendor managements can be different timelines, contracts, things like that. So within them, they become more complex. So I usually use a system for that. And then time management, right? So that would be like calendars. And so for meetings, deposit deadlines, contract deadlines, like I said, or also marketing deadlines, right? Like knowing that we have to do the second big push for marketing to do X amount of sales, that kind of stuff I would put in my calendar and in my team's calendar as well. So thank you so much for watching. Please comment below if this helped, if it hurt, what kind of event are you planning? What are you interested in seeing? And this is also the part that they tell me that to ask you to subscribe. So hope you enjoyed it.